If Harry Potter goes back to Hogwarts, he will be in mortal danger.
Yeah, sure. Whoa, this looks really good. And this actually looks like the mortal danger they mentioned. But none of this is actually in the game. Yes, this trailer may look great, but almost nothing from it actually is in the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets for the PS2. Yes, source of nostalgia for many people, including me. This was actually my first game for the PS2, but there was a version for PS1 too. Well, it's not a version, it is a completely different game, taking many aspects of gameplay from its predecessor, the Philosopher's Stone for the PS1. But it is generally considered to be better than the Philosopher's Stone. It, of course, looks older, but the voice acting sounds good.
Hello, Harry! Welcome to my home. It's not much. I think it's brilliant.
And in some cutscenes I could swear they used the same voice actors and models from the PS2 version.
Bed's empty, no note, car gone. Out of my mind with worry. Bed's empty, no note, car gone.
Mom,
Or these models of Draco and Lucius Malfoy look suspiciously similar to the PS2 version. Or this large black cabinet where Harry is hiding. But other than that, it is a different game that shares some, mostly story-related similarities with the PS2 version. As I mentioned in the first video, the Chamber of Secrets came out in 2002 and Philosopher's Stone, or the Sorcerer's Stone if you are from the US, came out in 2003, and many things including models, sounds, music, or even important gameplay things like spells and the whole map was copied from Chamber of Secrets to the Philosopher's Stone. This makes these games very similar in every way, and it feels like they could have done more to make each of these games stand out more as its own game. I say they, but we all know that I'm speaking about
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
So about this game now. The Chamber of Secrets is a third-person game with what I call an open world. I'm not sure others would agree, but you can move around the school, its classrooms and the surrounding area freely, so I do consider this an open world. Unlike the first game, here you have a loading screen after almost every door, which can get annoying. But fortunately, there is less doors on some places, so you save at least some time. Other than that, the controls are responsive and you will have no trouble with learning how to play this game. But the camera and aiming, you can see that free camera was not yet in fashion. Usually it's not that bad, but it becomes bad in the places where you need it the most. Like when you are fighting or running from an enemy. No, I will die, because he cannot aim.
Ow!
And you just can't turn the camera around to see where you're going or if it's still following you. And then, you cannot aim at the enemy to protect yourself. Come on, aim at the spider, aim at it. Sometimes it's just annoying when you want to see your surroundings, but the camera is not cooperating at all. I'm trying to keep the camera steady, but it's shaking and moving on its own. I'm not really doing anything with it. Now, this game has very similar playstyle as Philosopher's Stone, based on day and night sections. During the night, you sneak around the Hogwarts and mostly do story-related things, such as drinking the Polyjuice potion to turn yourself into Goyle to infiltrate the Slytherin common room.
Ah, Goyle. Did you know that Draco's looking for you?
Or sneaking to Forbidden Forest to find Aragog. The school during the night is protected by prefects that can deduct your points when they catch you, unlike the first game. So you better be very careful not to get caught.
You know the rules! You shouldn't be out at night! 5 points from Gryffindor!
But don't worry too much. They can deduct it like 4 times a night, and only 5 points each time, so you can't lose all of your house points like this. But these sections can get frustrating sometimes.
You know the rules. You shouldn't be out at night. 5 points from Gryffindor.
During the night, you can also visit the shop of Fred and George,
Ah, Potter! You finally made it then.
who sell some useful things that can help you with the prefect sections, such as
Non-explodable luminous balloons.
that distract the prefects or the...
Stink pellet bag.
They also sell many wizard cards and
Wiggenweld potion vial.
that serves as an extra health when filled, and even
The Alahamora spellbook.
during the day, you visit various classes around Hogwarts. At each of them, you learn a new spell that you can then freely use to unlock secrets and hidden chests around the school. I must mention the sadistic nature of the teachers of Hogwarts. When they send you on a spell challenge, they usually do something like this. Or this. Or even this. So that you would have no choice of returning back to the classroom without learning the spell first. Yeah. On the other hand, Hogwarts during the day is full of students. Some of them need your help with finding things. In the Gryffindor common room, you can find a notice board that tells you what is lost and a location where you should look for it, when it doesn't just say it can be anywhere around the school.
Thanks for finding the merit badge, Harry. You deserve a wizard card.
For each lost thing you find, you get a wizard card and a precious house points. Well, they are precious if you get caught by the prefects as often as I do. There is also another lost and found side quest. You might miss it. It starts in front of the school gate, but something feels off about it. The NPCs who give you these quests are just low poly models of random students running around the school, even though they claim to be people you know, and you know that those people have a very detailed, nice model, such as Neville Longbottom for example. He is like 2 or 3 imposters in this game. This side mission is not logged in your diary or anywhere. You just have to follow instructions from the NPCs, so you know where to find the other NPC. I often forgot that after speaking to them, you also have to wait and then accept the quest, or it won't start. And since you have no way of knowing if it is active or not, you might spend hours looking for something that is not even spawned, like I did. Yeah. And there is also an NPC on the rooftops that gives you a gnome throwing challenge. If you win, you get a wizard card and the NPC moves to another roof. Days are usually ended with a Quidditch match against one of the houses of Hogwarts. You fly through the rings, try to not hit anything in your path, and then you try to catch the golden snitch to win the match.
Gryffindor wins the match! Gryffindor will be partying tonight!
When you end the day, Dumbledore gives you an overview of the house points.
Gryffindor is in the lead.
The wizard cards I mentioned are an important part of the game too. For each 10 cards you collect, your health bar gets longer. Like in the Philosopher's Stone, here too you have a wizard card trading. But it is a lot simpler and a lot more useless than in the Philosopher's Stone. You just approach a student and watch a cutscene where the student tells you what card they want to swap. And if you have it, they do it and that's it. So you just swap cards and still have the same amount of cards as you had before? So I don't really know what good does this have. In Hogwarts classes, you learn several spells, such as Flipendo, that you have since the beginning of the game. Lumos for light and fighting giant thrushes. Diffindo for cutting ropes and tapestries. Expelliarmus for wizard duels. Scourge for removing ectoplasm from blocked doors and chests. A V-Force that can turn certain stones into birds to unlock passage or press a pressure plate for you. Incendio that can light the braziers and is good for fighting spiders too. And then, last but not least, the Alohomora spell for unlocking locked chests. This spell you can only get from the Fred and George shop. The animations in this game are a little bit dull compared to the Philosopher's Stone. They get better by the end of the game, where the main story cutscenes look almost as good as the Philosopher's Stone. But most of the game you are glad to see NPCs just open their mouth when they speak. Or in this case, you're glad if he closes his mouth. This surprised me, as the game that came out just a year later had a lot better looking cutscenes. The voice acting is okay.
I suppose your parents will go hungry for a month to pay for all the books you're going to need at Hogwarts.
It's not great, but it gets better as the game progresses.
You framed Hagrid!
Yes, but you, Harry Potter, how is it that you managed to defeat the greatest wizard of all time?
And what about the music? Yes, your boy Jeremy Saul did it again. Another amazing soundtrack that wonderfully captures this world. The story of the game is following the movie. I will describe it now, so do not watch this segment if you don't want any spoilers. You start the game at the Barrow, where the Weasley family lives. Miss Weasley, angry at her sons,
I've had it up to here with all of you.
but not Harry,
Except you, of course, Harry.
orders her sons to go de-gnoming.
Get outside and start de-gnoming.
This means to perform a highly inhumane practice of knocking off gnome with a flipendo spell,
Wow, I've got to try this!
then take it and throw it as far as you can to beat others' score. This seems to have become a sport of some sort in the wizarding world, as you can do this not only here, but later as a side quest at Hogwarts as well. After you finish, you go to the Diagon Alley. Or, well, not the Diagon Alley,
Diagon Alley!
but this very creepy place
This doesn't look like Diagon Alley.
where you learn Lumos spell, which will help you to get out of there. Once outside, you actually come to the Diagon Alley, where you meet Miss Weasley. You learn the second year magic that allows you to charge your spells. And you help Ginny find her lost things. Oh, and she's very grateful.
Oh, Harry, you're so wonderful.
Yes, very grateful, isn't she? Then you meet Ron, who tells you have missed the Hogwarts Express.
Harry,
I remember
we've
the
missed
time when I was writing my
train!
second
Missed the
bestseller,
train!
Daddy.
Yes!
Cool.
And so, you use the flying car to reach the school. And, as expected, 12-year-old boys can barely reach the gas pedal and crash right into the precious Whomping Willow in the Forbidden Forest. Ron is captured by the tree and you must find a way to release him. Then, you finally come to the Hogwarts and go to sleep. On the next day, you attend the flying lesson. I don't want to brag, but I got the distinction grade. Ha!
And you deserve the highest grade, a distinction.
Then, the next night, you learn that Neville is stuck behind the tapestry.
Neville? How did you end up back there?
So you have to get out to the greenhouses and learn the Defendo spell to release him.
Phew.
The next day, you attend the Defense Against the Dark Arts with Gilderoy Lockhart. He sends you to a terrible challenge to obtain the Expelliarmus spell. And oh boy, speaking of inhumane. Mr. Lockhart also has a very strange perception of safety. He tries to kill his students with this terrible contraption, for example. If you survive this, you attend your first Quidditch practice. After this practice, you get your Nimbus 2000, so you can explore Hogwarts and its many rooftops. Next night, Hermione sends you to find a book, Hogwarts, A History, in the restricted section of the library. You learn the skirt spell, and after getting to it through a terribly accessible part of the library, you're attacked by Crabbe and Goyle and fight them in a wizard duel. What is a wizard duel in this game? Well, basically a game of tennis. You just reflect the explosive spell at each other until one of you makes a mistake and gets hit. You don't have health, but you have points. Who loses all of the points as first loses the wizard duel. The next day you attend the Transfiguration class, and Professor Mcgonagall sends you to another terrible spell challenge, with the most annoying ghostly creatures imaginable. You learn the Aviforce spell here, and by turning the remainings of the boss into a bird with the spell, you finally get back to the classroom.
A superb job, Potter.
During another night, we meet Hermione in the girls' bathroom. She tells us she prepared the Polyjuice potion. We drink it, and in this very dramatic cutscene, we turn into Goyle. This segment is fun, because we can get called by the prefects as many times as we want, and they take away house points from Slytherin.
You shouldn't be out at night. 5 points from Slytherin.
But they do it only like 4 or 5 times, but it's still a nice detail, and it can help you to win the house cup. Later, we meet Draco and have a conversation with him, after which we use a very lame excuse to get away.
I'd best be going.
Going where?
To the hospital wing. Yes.
Then we get through the prefects back to our common room. Next day tests our ability to remain calm and not to sue Professor Flitwick. Yes, his perception for safety of the students is non-existent, as well as his height. On his charms class, we are sent to the Incendio challenge. After learning the Incendio spell in this fire inferno of failed, poorly timed jumps, we barely survive and get back to the classroom.
Excellent, Potter.
In the evening, we are given a diary of Tom Riddle, whoever that is. He tells us that Hagrid is responsible for opening the Chamber of Secrets. We go to confront him, but as we arrive, he is taken to the Azkaban prison. He tells us
to follow the spiders.
We do just that and find a giant spider, Aragog, father of many, many spiders, which he calls his children, and he sends them to kill us. He helplessly watches from his web how his children are turned into ash. Later, we confront him in a boss battle and narrowly escape. Last day, we have our last Quidditch match against Slytherin. We win, of course, and get the Quidditch Cup.
I present the Quidditch Cup to Gryffindor.
Later, we return to the common room. That night, Ron comes and tells us terrible news. Ginny has gone missing and Hermione has been attacked. We go to the girls' bathroom and with help of moaning Myrtle, we discovered that the entrance to the Chamber of Secrets is hidden right under the sinks. We open the Chamber of Secrets using parcel tank?
Open up! English!
Or more like this. And go down.
I'm going down there!
Alone for some reason. No Ron, no Gilderoy Lockhart. Alone.
Ugh.
In the Chamber of Secrets, we find Ginny lying on the ground, and Tom Riddle, who does not let us solve the riddle, but instead tells us outright he's Lord Voldemort.
I am Lord Voldemort, the greatest sorcerer in the world!
Or rather a memory of him, as you can see by his transparency. He calls the Basilisk, which I must say looks very good and is very well animated, to kill us. But Dumbledore's Phoenix comes, blinds the Basilisk and drops a sword right next to us to fight the giant snake. The sword is rather small, to be honest, but it does its job, even though rather strangely. Instead of piercing or slashing the snake, we shoot a very high voltage electric arc straight into a conveniently placed symbol at Basilisk's weak spot. After electrocuting the Basilisk to its death, it falls down, piercing the Tom Riddle's dial with its fang. Destroying the memory of Tom Riddle forever. After this, we get back to the Great Hall. We win the House Cup and celebrate. We get a short cutscene of Harry explaining everything to Dumbledore and others.
Once again, he truly was the boy who lived.
And the game ends. Yes, it was very nice to play this game after so many years. It was really a nice experience to see it all again. But even without the nostalgia, the game is just fun to play. What do you think about this game? Was it one of the most memorable games of your childhood as well? Let me know in the comments, like and subscribe if you liked the video. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a nice day!